Adams Shoalts says that the age of adventure isn't dead. Shoalts ought to know. The Fenwick native is the country's foremost explorer. He shared tales from his amazing journeys at a speaking engagement at the Niagara Falls Public Library.
So I'm a professional explorer. That's how I make my living. And that involves wearing different hats at different times. I do archaeology. I do public talks in schools and things about Canada's geography and different ecosystems and wildlife. And I write my official reports on the areas I explore and submit them to my sponsors like the Royal Canadian Geographical Society. I'm a cartographer, I make maps, and I'm also a writer. I've written for Canadian Geographic and other publications, and I hope to share some of what I see in the wilderness, the different plants and animals through my writing, my books, and my public talks.
Do you feel that your role as an explorer, does it extend to standing up for some of the environmental causes that are currently going on, or do you try and steer clear of things like that?
Oh no, I've always been an environmentalist. It kind of comes with the territory. I mean, when you have a great love of wilderness, it's hard not to be moved by what you see when every year results in fewer and fewer wild places on the earth. I mean, the earth's human population is always expanding, and with that expansion, we lose more and more wilderness. So environmental causes have always been near and dear to my heart.
Shoalts says his surroundings growing up in Fenwick helped nurture his love of the outdoors.
Well, the forests of Niagara were my first stomping grounds. That's where I learned a lot of my wilderness skills. Growing up in Fenwick, my backyard as a kid was a big swampy, deciduous forest. So that was my playground from like my earliest years. I'd go out there with my brother and our dog. And, so we were always catching frogs and going fishing and that kind of stuff in Fenwick and elsewhere in Niagara too. And that was really where my passion for exploring and the great outdoors came from.
Is the life that you're leading now, do you think that's a surprise to the people that are close to you or no?
No, I don't think so at all. You know, through my website, I've had a few of my oldest teachers from kindergarten or grade 1 email me after having not seen me in 20, 25 years and say, not surprised at all. You know, we always figured you'd choose some sort of unconventional path in life with your passion for adventure and the outdoors. So no, I don't think it would be a surprise to any of my family or friends that I've ended up as an explorer and adventurer.
While Shoalts has explored the world, he says that what can be found right in our own backyard is what he loves most.
Well, I think Canada is the most amazing country in the whole world. I mean, there's nothing else in the world like Canada's wilderness. We have the biggest roadless wilderness left on the planet outside of Antarctica. I mean, it's bigger than the Amazon rainforest. It's bigger than the Sahara Desert. It's bigger than, you know, the Russian Far East. And this wilderness that we have is amazing. It's diverse. There's incredible different landscapes. When we picture the Arctic, we tend to think of snow and ice. And it can be that, but there's other parts of the Arctic that are forested. There's parts that are desert. There's parts that are lush. There's parts that are just barren and stony and nothing lives there. And this wilderness, I mean, it's such a unique heritage that we have as Canadians. And I think that it's something that we have to protect and preserve as essential to our national heritage as, you know, the Parthenon is to the Greeks or the pyramids are to the Egyptians. I really see that as the soul of our country. And I'm tremendously concerned that we're not doing a good enough job protecting it. You know, every other country pretty much in the world has lost true wilderness, but Canada has this, and we have, I think, a special role to play to protect this, not only for future generations of Canadians, but for the whole world.
Shoalts' next adventure will coincide with the year-long celebrations to mark Canada's 150th birthday. He will attempt a 4,000-kilometer solo trek across the Arctic. Adam has launched a GoFundMe page that can be found on his website to underwrite the costs of the trip. In Niagara, you're watching The Source.